Talking with the Breakfast Club.
Now, what were you doing the last time you were on the bus or train? Most people are meddling with their smartphones. The question is, what are you doing? How fruitful is all that meddling? Well, soon you'll have the opportunity to meddle, so to speak, with beneficial results. If you take advantage of Street Smart University, it's a mobile app designed to deliver world-class learning from the experts to you for free, or for a low fee on premium content. The idea is to break down the barriers of time, money, and access. It's informal education that focuses on personal development and offers a platform for experts, too, to monetize their content. Joining me this morning are founders of Street Smart University, Fazil Musa bin Yusuf and Muhammad Imran bin Muhammad Nasir. Thanks for joining me, Imran and Fazil.
Thank you, Bharati.
Thanks
Now,
for having us. Yeah.
First of all, I understand that there are other platforms that are quite similar.
Exactly.
So how is this one different?
Well, you have a couple of platforms like TED.com. Of course, you have YouTube. And now you have, online revolution is going on, things like Khan Academy, iTunes University.
Yeah, so you can go access content that will actually help you in terms of personal
So
development.
what you find is a lot of content platforms actually focus on formal education. So Khan Academy, iTunes University, they take high school content or university curriculum content and put it online for free or for cheap. What we plan to do, in fact, the gap that we identified in the market is actually that for a lot of people, success is very elusive, and things that you need to succeed in life are not taught to you in school. Simple things like personal finance, simple things like communication, simple things like taking care of your health and your relationships and your emotional well-being and spiritual well-being. So these are things and gaps that we found.
But, for instance, you mentioned TED. That, too, takes care of a lot of these elements, you know, the TED platform.
Well, the thing about TED is it's very shallow. What you do is you go online and you see...
I mean, it's not shallow content, but you get a little bit of content, not the full range of talks and stuff.
So you go in to TED, then you discover, well, this is something that I want to learn more about. But in order for you to learn more about it, you've got to go out of the TED ecosystem, go and Google it, and then the results that you get may or may not be satisfactory. So what
so they merely give you a taste.
Exactly.
So 3 minutes out of an hour-long lecture, for instance.
Exactly.
Okay. So tell me how this is going to be different.
So with Street Smart University, the name university itself lends to the idea that there are modules. So for example, if you wanted to learn more about leadership, and we have a speaker named Richard Coles, who is an expert on leadership, you'll find that you will have 10 or more videos on leadership, each of them about 5 to 7 minutes long, and each addressing a different aspect of leadership. So you can go in depth into one topic.
This actually sounds like one of the programs I do on this show.
Sounds fantastic.
Maybe you should try and tie up with a few radio stations.
Oh, we'd love to do that.
Well, I would like to know what inspired you to come up with these things. I mean, did you observe gaps in your own education?
Oh,
Fazil?
Definitely. I think, personally, my take is that the education system of today is inadequate to prepare people for the fast-paced economy that we're in right now. And I think that, like, for example, a lot of people go to school, right, and then they're choosing a major, they're choosing their degree, but when they come out, they're being offered jobs that didn't even exist when they chose their major. So what we felt is that also, in order for you to be successful, we've met with a lot of successful people, and we asked them, so what was that one thing that you learned that was most critical to your success? And most of them came back to us and told us, I felt that it was my leadership skills or my communication skills. None of them told us it was that biology class they took in secondary 3. So that's one of the things that we realized. And also through our experience, we've been through quite a number of personal development seminars, and they can be extremely expensive. I think in
hundreds and hundreds of dollars per session.
Thousands. Like for me, in 2011, I spent over $20,000 on personal development.
Was it one seminar or several?
It was a series of seminars,
but
okay. Not more than 10, I think.
$20,000.
$20,000. And the thing is, we know that most of the people who really need these kind of learnings are probably not able to afford it. or maybe they're a little bit resistant to go. So if it was a little bit cheaper, they might try it out. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to break down those barriers to access to these learnings by putting it on the mobile space.
Okay, let me talk about the content providers here, because are you going to put them out of business? I mean, whoever charged you $20,000 for that series of leadership seminars, what's going to happen to that person, to that company?
Yeah, that's a good question you ask.
Because are you really going to give me 20,000 worth of seminars on this platform, Street Smart University?
I think what we want to express is that on the mobile app, you will never ever be able to replicate a true experience of being at a conference, a workshop, or a seminar, or in a one-to-one coaching.
For instance, there will be no breakout sessions and all that.
Exactly.
It is really quite self-directed learning.
You don't interact with other participants per se unless you share what you learn with your friends. What this gives is, for a lot of people, they would never ever step into a workshop or session out of their own volition. They would have to do it because maybe their company sent it, or maybe their husband or their girlfriend bought a ticket and said, "Hey, you have to go because I bought a ticket for you already." So what we believe this will do, because it's a free app, is that most people, in between traveling or in between work, they'll say, "Hey, it's a free app. Why don't I try it out?" So this really provides a taster. For some people, when they want to learn more, they can purchase premium content, and if they become really comfortable, they can go and engage the speakers in coaching or the workshop. So what we believe this actually does is to increase the size of the pie for everyone. So this is similar to what what happened in the travel industry when budget airlines came on and they charged super cheap prices. Instead of killing the market, they actually increase the market for travel.
So in other words, really increasing accessibility
Exactly.
and helping more people as a result. So what we're going to be getting on Street Smart University is really a cross between the full $20,000 worth of seminars and what is currently offered as tasters on current information platforms.
Yep.
Right?
So the speakers will have things like preview videos, preview sessions. A lot of people complain to me that when they attend seminars and all that, there's a lot of so-called rah-rah testimonials and stuff like that. So whenever we talk to our speakers, we tell them, yes, you need to tell people about your brand and about what you do, but importantly, you need to give a lot of value. So each video goes straight into learning what are the key 1, 2, or 3 points and what you can take away from it and how can you apply it. So it's a very quick lesson. For example, Nishan Kasip Hatla, who is a Guinness World Record holder for memory, he teaches, for example, a 5-minute lesson. How do you remember more names at a networking session? 1, 2, 3 points, go out and apply. That's it.
Okay. So tell me more about some of the challenges you might have faced while developing this app. It is due to be out early next year, sometime in January, hopefully. What were some of the challenges you faced in this process? Because you only started in March this year. So within less than a year, you'll be launching it if it all works out.
Well, the thing is, Imran and I, our experience is in events and personal development events and seminars, and we have absolutely no experience in the technology scene, but we felt that this was important, and this was precisely the gap that we found, is that most of these established personal development speakers, they don't have a presence on the mobile platforms. So in order for us to get in there, we had to develop those capabilities. We spent maybe two months finding a good developer that would actually work with us. And we only recently, maybe in October or so, found a good web developer that would work with us. And also in the tech game, it's a highly capital intensive business. So we had to find investors, and we had absolutely no experience finding investors. So we banged a lot of walls trying to find investors. But every wall that we banged, we learned something that would help us further later on in the game.
Every time we met people, we improved, and we talked to everyone we could. We talked to people on Facebook. We approached people who we didn't know on LinkedIn. We spoke to the universities. We spoke to Spring. We spoke to MDA. But thankfully, in the end, with every person and every presentation, every pitch that we made, we got better, and we have some private investors now. So that smooths the way for our launch.
All right, we'll continue talking about Street Smart University, finally a way to use that commuting time on public transport more productively. Stay with us on 938 Live.
938 Live. 938 Live gets you talking with the Breakfast Club.
Now, soon you'll have the opportunity to meddle with your smartphone, something that I think many of you do while on the way to work and so on and so forth. Meddle with beneficial results soon. If you take advantage of Street Smart University, yes indeed, learning doesn't stop once you leave school, right? Street Smart University is a mobile app designed to deliver world-class learning from experts to you for free or for just a low fee for premium content. The idea is to break down the barriers of time, money, and access. It's informal education that focuses on personal development and offers a platform for experts also to monetize their content. Joining me today are founders of Street Smart University, the mobile app. They are Fazil Musa and Muhammad Imran. Thanks for joining me, guys. Now let's talk about how this platform can be monetized for content developers. Fazil?
Right. So we've got four streams of revenue for our app. So the first one obviously would be advertising revenue. When people come in, and this revenue will probably be relatively small as we're growing our user base. The second stream of revenue would be from affiliate revenue and from joint ventures with the speakers that come onto our platform. The third would be with the IP that we have from the development of the app. We'll actually be marketing this platform to big companies, like for example multinational companies who have a huge problem with training or unifying their training over region. Like for example, making sure that the training people receive in Japan is the same training that they receive in Singapore. So
it also depends on what their individual needs are, though.
Exactly.
The people in Japan might need a different type of training than the people in Singapore.
Yeah, which is why you have customized training as well on the platform for corporations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so how does that work exactly?
So basically, we use the speakers or experts that we have in our team as consultants, and we go into corporations and look at what are your learning objectives for the year, what were the biggest challenges, and we can customize content for them. So that's another way that we are able to monetize. So
right, so you're not just going to put the content out there, you're also going to be consulting.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's going to be both a consumer as well as a corporate model as well.
Okay, that sounds pretty comprehensive. Now, Imran, Fazil earlier shared that he got the idea because he spent over $20,000 in seminars at some point and decided that perhaps, the middle class in Asia wouldn't be able to afford something like that. What about you? I mean, what was your impetus for coming up with this?
Personally, I did spend some money, not as much as Fazil though. It did go into the
So Fazil, are you a better leader than Imran? After $20,000 worth of leadership seminars?
Well, they were all around different programs. It could be wealth, it could be public speaking, it could be leadership. Personally, a lot of people talk about the education system as being broken. I personally...
Although recently it's been revealed that Singaporean students do very well in reading and mathematics, that sort of thing.
And I did reasonably well. I went to good schools in Singapore as well. But what I found is that myself included and a lot of my friends didn't have the a simple basic personal finance knowledge. For example, we go through school and we just expect everyone to have their system together, that I know how to manage my finances, I know how to spend, I know how to invest, and precisely because of the lack of these skills being taught, you have even highly educated, high earning people who spend more than what they earn, and end up being broke or not taking care of their health. So at the end of the day, we are all chasing this elusive thing called happiness, and the labels, the jobs, the titles, the condo, the car, all these simply means to the end. I think what we increasingly forget is that these things are just things and not the things that we really seek. And what we hope to address is that with the content, with the experts that come in, that we can address holistic success. And I think this is something that is a bit lacking, and this is from my own experience.
To what extent do you think all this content could also be integrated with the current education system in Singapore specifically?
Well, I think that, personally, what you learn in the education system forms a very important foundation for your development and for your success. This certainly would never replace that, but I think using what we teach on Street Smart University in tandem with what people learn in school will definitely add to their holistic development.
We have actually been doing some training in the schools as well on things like topics such as entrepreneurship, public speaking, leadership, and I think there is a drive internally from the teachers, from the administrators, from the top as well, to bring in this content and bring in these topics. However, it's still not focused because if it's not able to be measured, if there's no grade, people tend to think that it's not important.
How is it that the two of you saw things differently, in spite of the fact that you too went through the same education system as most Singaporeans?
I think we had very different experiences in the education system. Imran went to one of the
All the
top
good schools.
like really one of the top schools, and I did just enough to no, I went to St. Patrick's School. I did relatively well there. Then I just made it to Catholic Junior College, and I had to take my A levels twice, and then I realized that when universities didn't accept me into, didn't take me in, I realized that the A levels is just a snapshot of your capabilities. If you weren't doing well, if you weren't feeling well on the day when you're taking your examination, then you probably wouldn't get a good grade. So I needed to see what else I had to offer in order to create value. So instead of going to university, I joined a network marketing company. I was there for a year and a half. After a year and a half, actually, to be honest, that year and a half was probably the most fruitful in my life, because I had learned much more in those 18 months than I had in my entire education, 12 years before that. So that's where I really learned that personal development, non-formal education is really extremely important. It amplifies everything that you've learned.
So the message is you can succeed in life no matter what you're doing, whether you get good grades, great grades, or even bad grades. That does not label you as a success or failure. It's really your own volition, your own effort, your own belief that leads to it.
Well, it's a good thing you saw that, Imran, in spite of the fact that you were already getting the good grades and went to all the top schools. So many thanks for sharing your stories with us today.
Thank you,
Fazil, Musa and Muhammad Imran, co-founders of Street Smart University. It's a mobile app that is scheduled to hit the market when? January?
Late January. You can connect with us on Facebook. Look for Street Smart University or streetsmartuniversity.info. You can connect with us there.
All right. Thank you very much. That's streetsmartuniversity.info.